these are really turbulent times right now, and it's a difficult time, both in our nation and for people who struggle the most. And really, our role as social workers is to come and to be able to help address our clients' needs. And oftentimes, we tend to focus on working with uh, kind of the individual client. We tend to focus on working with the person directly in front of us, what we might call direct social work practice or micro practice. And we tend to forget and not focus as much on policy practice, or we feel like other workers will come and be able to do that. And it's important for us to be able to do that. And so today, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about some rationales, and one rationale in particular, this idea of working with vulnerable populations for participating in policy practice, to kind of encourage you that it is really important. This is kind of the why we need to come and to be able to do this. And really, this idea of policy practice and addressing the needs of vulnerable clients is really important. Um, I work for a school district working with students who have emotional and behavioral disabilities. And really, that is a population that has a lot of needs within it. I spent a number of years working in community mental health with clients with various disabilities. And again, that is another population that really needs social workers and workers to come and to step up and to kind of work on changing policies. Another population that I've worked with quite a bit is with our migrant population and immigrant population. Again, another very vulnerable population. And really, for all of these vulnerable populations, social workers are the front line working with that population. We're the ones who are coming into contact with them on a day by day basis. And so I want to share with you guys kind of some ways that we can think about participating in policy advocacy and what that looks like. So one way that's really kind of important and a beneficial way of addressing kind of this policy practice is to have policy sensitive practice. It requires professionals to take into account the economic and social realities that our clients have, and many of which negatively impact our clients. That we look for kind of those negative policies and kind of the consequences that have. So, for example, that might be not having enough housing support, and that we work to empower our clients by teaching them how to confront those barriers, that we help get them connected to resources, and that we equip them with skills, the kind of skills necessary for practice. The kind of second way that we can do this policy practice is through policy related practices. And professionals really should use brokering, being a liaison, participating in case advocacy, going from cause to case or case to cause, and for our specific clients. And that's another really kind of important way that us as workers can participate in policy practice. And finally, there's direct policy advocacy. And this is really, I think this is oftentimes the way social workers think, oh, well, if I was going to do policy practice, this is what I would do. And really, we should hopefully be doing some of all three of these things. But that's where we come and engage in policy advocacy when we move beyond working for just our direct clients, that we develop and work in coalitions, that we use power, that we develop tactics to come and to address our clients' needs, that we participate in lobbying, engage in political campaigns, conducting policy-related research, drafting policy proposals, and reforming the implementation of specific programs are all great ways to come and to participate in that policy advocacy. Now, Figueroa and McDonough in 1993 wrote a paper about the neglected side of social work. And they describe that social workers oftentimes do not consider policy practice in their careers. She describes kind of 3 areas that social workers should come and that we should really be involved with. So one of these areas is this idea of legislative advocacy. And we're going to talk about kind of examples in a really brief manner for each of these 3. But legislative advocacy is an important way that we can come and work with the politicians and people at the local, the state, and the federal level to come and to change policies. That we can participate in social action. That we can come and connect with groups that are helping their clients. And that we can participate in social policy analysis. That we can review the ways that monies, programs, those types of things are being implemented and address that with our clients. So I want to give you kind of an example of each one of these things. So one thing that I've done related to legislative advocacy is I've for a number of years have been a member of the Children's Alliance, which is a social network, and they're actually having their lobby day next month. I'd love to go. It's in February. I'm not exactly sure yet if I'll be able to go or not, but it's something that I participated in over a number of years. And every year they have a lobby day called Kids at Heart, and they do training. They come and talk about kind of their platform and do some education around kind of the needs in the community. And then they encourage the participants to go out and to talk to their state representatives. And, you know, it's a great organization. They're working on doing some awesome things. And, you know, this isn't necessarily always the way that we want to do policy advocacy, but it's a really great one. And something that we can do as a social worker that is fairly beneficial would be to join some sort of legislative advocacy group. Whether I'm really proud that this is my first year that I've participated in anything for the Washington State Association of School Social Workers, and this year they just got some legislation passed that is helping increase social workers' effect in Washington State in our schools, and that's really exciting. But without having social workers come and participate in that professional organization, in that advocacy group, it wouldn't happen. The same with Children's Alliance, a number of different interests. Whatever your interests are, you can find a group and to be able to help participate and partner with them. Participating in social action is really kind of about grassroots movements related to some sort of a specific topic. One thing that a couple of years ago, when Trump was elected president, there was a number of people in my community who were very distraught, and especially we have a very high migrant population here, and a lot of people who are immigrants or who are maybe not legal citizens. And there were a number of events called Love Not Hate gatherings that came, and I got to go and participate in some of those. That when we come and join together with others in the community to bring awareness and to promote some sort of an issue, I've done some work with the Benton Franklin counties children, youth, and families coalition, which was working towards reducing abuse and neglect of children, to come and to bring some awareness around issues related to abuse. And I've gone and come and walked for that. Even when my school district went on strike, I was out there with my picket signs coming and showing unity with the teachers. I have participated in some suicide awareness walks where we've come and just to come and to let community members know what kinds of problems there are related to that. And so I would really encourage you to come and to look at local movements, local events, to get involved with people in your community who are working on making a difference. And it can be really powerful and impactful. And then finally is this idea of social policy analysis. And one of the things that I've done related to social policy analysis is doing some work with the Pasco Discovery Coalition. They are a substance abuse reduction organization that is coming and working on reducing substance abuse for especially for teenagers in my city. And they are working on addressing problems at a policy level oftentimes. And so they've worked to come and to make it so when community events have a beer gardens, that that those aren't necessarily directly next to where the kids play area is, or that they're more sectioned off. They've gone into stores and worked with business owners to say, hey, you might consider where you put your alcohol and tobacco and other products that we don't want children either stealing or that we don't want them to be focused on looking at, right? And to look at kind of the placement of some of those items and to kind of help them make some changes that both make it so that hopefully they have less theft of some of those items, but that we just have a safer community. And that has been through looking at policies in the community, analyzing what the needs are, and using that data to say how can we come and address these in a systematic way. And so we just want to come and encourage you to think about, how do you do policy? How do you come and look at things from a macro perspective? Thanks.